You've come for a reason, some faraway corner of yourself. It'll always smoulder, but let's leave the past for the future and deal with now.
Purists, they're gonna hate this. But I think the younger generation and today's crowd, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get what I'm going for here. I was a muscle car guy way before I was in the tuner scene. But I absolutely fell in love with drifting, time attack, that kind of style of driving, the overall atmosphere, and everything that came with it. The cars, and the way they handled, and the way they looked, and the way they sound, and the way they move. But this is a build that I've been thinking about doing for a long time. So I'll take everything I learned in the last 20 years and mash it all up into one project. And with the help and support of my crew, my friends, and everybody that I've met along the way, this is gonna be one hell of a ride.
Check this out. Maybe we should make a drift car out of this thing. It's like a 1930s, maybe 20s, who knows? Ooh.
About a kilometer behind my house, there's a spot where leftover parts and old projects go sit and wait to be repurposed. I found the car I'm going to use. I have a complete drivetrain left over from the 240 I was building into a drift car. So I have motor, transmission, ECU, wire harness, all the ignition, fuel systems, everything just about ready to go.
What's in here? Looks like C4 Corvette suspension. Very complete. I'm gonna have to get the truck for this one.
I need some help to dig that out in my truck. It's over there. Whew. Welcome to the junkyard. Tons of stuff lying around here. People's broken dreams and lost hopes. But everything will have its day. That could be useful for something, I think. It's a little inspiring. Thanks for stopping by, because this thing's gonna be pretty heavy. So, I don't need you for this.
I figured when you're like, I'm out back question mark.
Yeah.
If you're lost somewhere. So I gotta go see what it's all about.
Well, I found something, so I don't know. We could maybe throw it together. Could be a piece of a puzzle with a cool. I don't know. I want to build a race car. Brent came over and helped me pull out a suspension.
It's got brakes. It's got discs. It's got shocks.
Another piece of the puzzle for me to go $160 sideways in a 71 El Camino.
Let our work commence. your potential.
Time to start looking for some parts now. I need to be able to drive this car, so parts availability and aftermarket support is going to be a huge factor. So I looked up aftermarket support to see what kind of stuff was available to make this suspension handle better than it originally did, and at the same time looked up prices on OEM parts and spare pieces, bushings, bearings, brakes. This is a very good platform to go off of. Since the C4 Corvette has been around since 1984 till the early 90s, it's been here long enough that people have worked on it and developed parts for it. And also, it's now old news, so the parts, you can come by them fairly cheap and fairly easily. Now that I have the suspension set up sitting in my shop, up on the rack, I can really check it out, look around it, investigate, inspect, and see what's wrong with it, or what it's going to need, what it might be missing, and also what kind of condition it's in. I use all the various tricks, the basic stuff, check all the bearings, the bushings, the ball joints, check for any slack anywhere, see if anything's loose, see if anything's broken, and everything turns out to be pretty good looking. The bearings seem fine, the brakes are obviously going to have to be redone. I'm going to have to get rebuilt calipers or rebuild these ones depending on how I go. The C4 Corvette was a well-balanced car, very lightweight and good handling. Now I want to see if I can get that same magic out of the 1971 El Camino. I've seen other people use Corvette chassis for a build like this, but most of the time, if they make it look old school like a car or a truck or something, they just put the body on top of the Vette chassis. Basically, you're dressing up a Corvette to look like something else. Where I'm actually incorporating all the parts inside the chassis. I have to cut, fit, weld, mold the chassis to accept the Corvette suspension, front and rear setups, possibly looking at building whole new sections of frame and refiguring everything. It's going to be a long process. I want to get this El Camino to handle like a Corvette, so I'm even considering moving back the engine and getting some of that weight balance back. There's plenty of room inside the interior where I can sit back and stretch my legs way out, so I have a good couple inches to work with. To ensure success on this project, I'm going to need a plan, a strategy, organization, and lots of room. I needed to clean out the shop to make way for this new project that's rolling in. Not only to clean up the shop and keep things more organized, but also to keep my mind clean, clear, and calm. I'm a man of many hobbies, many talents, many skills that I've developed over the years, and it's both a blessing and a curse. I'm one of those that gets easily distracted. Being distracted stops me from completing any tasks. It's been a long time that I've been working on this channel, on YouTube, and I've been through so many projects and haven't completely finished one yet. This is where everything changes. This is the one that I have to follow through. I have to finish. This isn't simply just changing wheels or putting on a set of coilovers or plastic dipping the car. This is a real build. Everything A to Z. Suspension, drivetrain, body paint, electronics, styling. Everything is going to be touched on this car. Mating the Corvette C4 suspension has to be a complete fabrication job. It has to fit, has to be made to fit, and there's no plans and there's nothing for me to follow to do this. I have to just jump in and figure it out. Measure twice, cut once, and hope for the best. I've been a car guy all my life, but really only following, concentrating, and drifting since 2006. On and off, because we all have to deal with life and things life throw at us. But in my past, I drifted an AE86 Toyota Corolla with 150 horsepower, and then moved on to an AE86 11. It was SR20 swapped, and I'm drifting an RX-7 FD3S. It's a very beautiful car, very fast, very fun. But now I'm looking for something a little bit different.
dig back into my roots a little bit. I've always been a super huge fan of the El Camino chassis. I think it's an amazing looking vehicle. Years ago there was an El Camino in Formula Drift, but this one will be built a little bit different. It's all the things I like the most. Loud cars, crazy engines, smoke, fire, and chaos.
This was once a very different world. A world where laws and rules were respected and nurtured until one day the plains of silence end and you begin.
Building a project just like this is something that's been on my mind for a very long time, and I started preparing very early for it. This winter past, my brother and I took all my project cars that I had here, everything that was sitting around, and we brought it all up to the warehouse. There's a farm where we get to store our projects and keep everything safe. That way it's out of sight and out of mind.
Look at all the project cars. Supra, 66 Nova, what is that? Spitfire, 63 Nova. Trying to keep everybody guessing what the next project's gonna be. And finally, 72 T37, I think. Okay, so everything's in, everything's put away. Made a huge mess here, but this is where potential projects all come to be stored. Remember that blue one right there?
I spent the entire spring getting the RX-7 ready to go out and drift. But at the same time, COVID-19 came on, took over the world, and hit the big pause button.
Lockdown in cases. Warning. Another lockdown. The lockdown.
Go back to quarantine.
Isolate. Warning.
Everything was shut down. No racetracks, no car parks, no shows, no events, no restaurants, nothing. You couldn't even go see your friends. I started getting back into the art of things, drawing, painting. So when the world stopped, it was a perfect opportunity for me to figure out what I wanted and where I wanted to go. I just want to build cool cars, put all my artistic ability in there, mash it all up into one project. And that's what this is. This is all my skills thrown into one. My ability to weld, fabricate, put cars together, be a mechanic, do bodywork, my film editing, mixing, putting everything together. That's what all this is right here. So from now on, that's what this channel is all about. It's about building our dreams. Building the cars that people said we couldn't. They said we shouldn't, and they said we can't. Build your vision the way you want. Make something cool, something that stands out. So it's all gonna start right here with this. The 1971 El Camino Drift car. Something different, something flashy, something crazy. They told me not to drift my 86, they told me not to drift the RX-7. What are you gonna say about this?
yours in this life, my friend, although you fear to dream it. Let our work commence.